What's good, everybody? Donnie B got the beats here on Tupelo West with my homie Nick Baker. What's up, Nick?
What's happening? What's happening?
We got the pleasure of having a beautiful old school friend of ours, Taurea Avant, aka the Queen of Book Profiting, live and direct from the A. What's good?
Actually, I'm in H-Town now.
You in H-Town? Okay, look.
Good.
AKA businesswoman extraordinaire, AKA urban CEO, AKA if you need to learn how to write a book, get at her. Like,
hey, hold on, but everybody don't know this AKA Tia Lucci. Hello.
Take it back. You
don't know about that?
You don't know she got the bars. She had bars too. She had bars too.
I already gonna put some on that.
Why not? I ain't mad at it, man. That's how we go back.
Yeah, we go back, man. We go back.
Yeah. So how you been? How you been, Taurea?
Man, life has been really, really good. I've been grateful and blessed. I've learned a lot. And yeah, now I'm just been an entrepreneur. I mean, I've always had that in me though. So I've been an entrepreneur for like forever, but things have just really been good. I will say this pandemic for me has honestly been a blessing in many ways because it's caused me to kind of sit down and like refocus my energies on the things that are important. So yeah, man, how y'all doing? What's good?
Living the best life. Another
staying sanitized,
Right. Staying to myself. Well, tonight actually I'm going to a comedy show, so
look.
I guess I'm about to put it on the line or put it all on the line tonight. I got to get out the house, child.
You gotta take a vacation from it. I get it.
It's necessary sometimes, get out, get a laugh. That's healthy too. That's healthy too.
Absolutely. Yes. Laughter is very important. Yes, darling. Yes, darling.
Exactly. So about back to Taurea. Give the world a sample as far as like what got you to where you are. Tell us a little bit about Taurea.
Well, absolutely, Donnie. Well, first of all, originally from Virginia. So, that's where I'm from. And of course, we know each other from Hampton University. Shout out to all the HBCUs watching. Hey. Yes. After I graduated from school, I tried to do the corporate thing for a few years, working in Virginia. And then my father was diagnosed with cancer. And so that's really like what shifted a lot of stuff for me, just, seeing how the journey of him battling through that and then eventually it actually taking his life. I decided a month later, that's when I was going to move to Atlanta. So I had been in Atlanta for like 10 years. Just grinding, man, like hustling, trying to do any and everything. I used to have a show though. So a lot of people don't know this, but back in VA, I used to have a show called The Circuit, right? It was a late night. Y'all remember that show, right? Late night urban show. I was like a little local celebrity in Virginia. It's crazy about Virginia. Like Virginia, man, like we're small, but we're big. But it just was like the environment. Like I used to just feel like Virginia was popping, and then we didn't know much. And so then when I had a chance to explore the world, it was like, man, there's so much going on. A lot of people get money, right? So. Yeah, so I moved to Atlanta and ended up, I was doing websites. I was trying to really, expand the show, but it didn't quite work out. And so I was doing websites and then got into the network marketing industry, something I never thought I would ever do. And I did well. I didn't stand for too long, though. So like I did it from 2009 to about 2012 as far as going full force into it. But around 2012, I went through some crazy stuff. Like it was like everything was hitting me at once. I was with someone who I thought, was going to be my husband, and that ain't work out. Then I had a girlfriend that had got sick around 2012, 13 with cancer, and she ended up passing away. I don't even know. It's like all the years blend together. It was just like a lot. And so I went through a very, very deep depression at that time. And I know a lot of people that are probably watching this. If you are an entrepreneur, listen, like there's a whole lot of movements that go on, and many of us experience that. And I'm so glad we're in a place now where people are willing to talk about going through some of the mental illnesses that we as Black and brown people deal with a lot, but we just sweep it under the rug. You already know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so went through it, and I was able to push through it today to be able to talk about it. So I definitely always make sure to mention it. And then 2014, I started coaching and teaching people how to write books. Everybody thought I was crazy now. I want y'all to know, it was like, everybody's like, oh, Taurea done lost it. She out of her mind. Like, cause I mean, at the industry, in the home-based business industry, I was making like, a decent multiple six figures. And so for me to leave that, it was like, what is she doing? But now today, I've helped more than 5,000 plus people to become authors. So, I mean, I think I know what I'm doing now, but yeah. And then you talked about Urban CEO. So I'm excited about that. This is only our second year. It's crazy because it feels like it's been longer than that, but we're going into our second year. And we're just, really trying to figure out exactly like what it is that we can bring to the urban community. So I have some really dope ideas for 2021. Ultimately, we're the bridge between the urban community and like business, career, because I'm the girl, I was only in corporate for like 1 year of my life. And, when you talk to people that come from corporate, and I know a lot of my half the people know what I'm talking about, because y'all be up here with these acronyms, SOPs, TOTs, WI. I don't know what the hell y'all be talking about. And so I was like, listen, I'm a bootstrapper. That's all I know is the hustle. And so for me, I know when you come from the urban community, and a lot of people don't have that benefit and blessing of being able to kind of understand the lingo, we want to be the bridge, so that we no longer have to be in a place where we got to fund our own businesses because we don't realize this money out here in these streets, where we have to, grind out here and do everything by ourselves, not realizing we can hire people for $3, $4, $5 an hour to help us. So yeah, so I created that nonprofit. So it's a lot going on, a whole lot of, and I'm living in Houston. How you doing?
Yes. I mean, just hearing all that, and like, I've definitely like watched you go through different phases and your success. And like one thing I think about is that there are a lot of people who jump into the world of, let's say, marketing or online marketing or different ventures, and they're not successful, right? They try hard, they think they try hard, they put in effort. What do you attribute your success to? Like it's a lot of people doing it, but you are successful in it. Like, what do you attribute that to?
Well, first of all, I cannot take credit of a lot of the success on my own. I've got a lot of coaches. First, of course, the number one coach is God, God, but you got to know how to use God properly. Because a lot of times people will always be like, well, you got to pray about it. What does that mean? Like, don't listen, I'm gonna need some proper management and understanding what the prayer about it means. So I had to truly understand like what all of that was, and how that was going to help me. But God brings people. So, you know what I'm saying? He brings the right people in front of you. So I had to get people to show me how to have success. And another thing is, I make it a conscious effort not to be around on a continual basis, be around people who I'm just comfortable. Like if I'm around a lot of people where I just feel like I'm the sharpest knife in the drawer, you know how they say that, then I'm not in the right environment. So I want to be around people that talk about stuff differently. I get around people where they talk about, I just landed a client for $50,000. You know what I'm saying? Or, I just went and got me that new Bentley and paid cash. Not that I even aspire to care to buy something like that for cash, but to be around somebody like that, it makes you uncomfortable. For us, our people, we like to get around people that, we can be cool with, people that, we done grew up with. We're never putting ourselves in environments where we can be uncomfortable. So I will say that helps a lot. Like even to the point where like, y'all, I go to restaurants where you don't see a lot of us at, and sit at the bar. Now, granted, I ain't no fool either. I understand sometimes you got to learn how to, switch the subject, but I get into those environments because they're talking about different stuff. Wealthy people don't talk about lack. They don't talk about what they ain't got. They don't talk about we got to get into the club before 10 o'clock so we can get it for free and be standing by the VIP so we can get in the VIP. They don't talk about conversations like that. The conversations they talk about what stock is going up, what they invest in, where they going, what yacht they about to rent out or buy, or, you know, things of that nature. So definitely connecting myself to people that could see bigger and further than where I was going has always been a big thing. I'll tell you this. The first time that I ever really wanted to be an entrepreneur, I'll never forget it, in Virginia. And I used to stay across from Hampton High School at Crystal Lakes condos, right? Remember, right? Yeah. So, Crystal Lake. And so this dude that my dad knew was a bail's bondsman, right? He was a bail's bondsman. And he pulled up in the Bentley. No, I'm sorry. I don't think people was riding Benz like that. It was it was a Benz though, right? And it was a nice 2-door coupe Benz. I don't know what number it was, but I just remember it being a Mercedes Benz. And I never knew anyone that looked like me that drove a coupe. You know what I'm saying? So I remember him talking to me about getting money. And he was that first person where I was like, oh, I'm trying to get this bread. And then it was like, ever since then, I just always was trying to get myself around people that were making some good money. So, yeah.
Dope. I got one more follow-up question around just you in general. The one thing that I always respect about you is like, I feel like no matter what you've done, you stay true to you. Tell me like your balance. Cause like, I can see you in one moment in a business suit, speaking to thousands of people. In the next moment, you on camera doing a dance routine, like just having fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, keep that balance. Do people criticize that? You probably don't care, but like, how do you keep that balance?
Well, yeah, people do say got something to say. You know, people gonna always have something to say about anything you do. So you might as well let them talk about you while you enjoy your life. So I love to dance. Y'all know I love to dance. I love dancing. So that's a part of me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if I feel like I want to show y'all a little 1-2, 2-step, I'm gonna do it. You know, even though I know some people gonna be like, that's not professional. Also, I'll never forget. So I always tell this story about when I went to this conference, right? And shout out to everybody watching. I see some of y'all, Chanel, Sane. Sorry, I like to shout out people. Raynard, Felicia, what up, though? So I was at this conference that cost $600 to go to. And so at this time, I had already been making 6 figures and making it from the comfort of my home, wearing jeans and t-shirts. And so this woman, I don't know, I guess she called herself trying to check me because, you know, we were having a conversation and out of nowhere, she was like, you know, I remember one year I decided that when I was coming back to this event, I won't name the event, but when I was coming back to this event, I was going to dress like success or whatever. So I went and got all nice suits. And so the next year, you'll never believe, you know, I came to the event and everybody treated me with respect and blah, 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 blah. And so I let her say what she wanted to say. And I said, well, ma'am, if you don't mind, can I interject on what you just told me? She was like, yeah. I said, well, listen, I get what you're saying and all, but last year I made over $100,000 with jeans and a t-shirt on, drinking wine on the Instagram, talking about Jesus in the same sentence, doing what I do. So with all due respect, like, I don't have to conform to what we have been taught as children. This is what success looks like. And so when I decided to let those barriers down and just be myself, and granted, like, I want y'all to be honest. Like, I want y'all to know, like, there are times like I even post a picture where I might not even have no makeup on, or I might got rollers in my hair and everything, because, you know, this is me. Listen, most of y'all dudes be out here talking about she fine, I want to be with her. This is what I look like. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I look like. But no, but truth be told, I just feel like we have to create that kind of a culture where people can be okay with being themselves, talking the way we talk, dressing how we talk, and knowing that we can still have success. So that's a big goal of mine. Like, I don't ever want to be successful portraying or acting like somebody that I'm not.
Yeah, no. Hey, and you getting it done, right? You're getting it done. And I think the reality is what's meant for you is meant for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you should be able to do what you do, like you said. I'm a person that, you know, deals in the field and have had some success with it. And, you know, I'm tatted up and all that. And people have their like thoughts and whatever, right? But I still get the job done when it comes to doing the job, right? Whatever I'm doing, my work shows up for what it is, no matter what I got on, no matter how many tats I got, it shows up, right?
Mhm.
And I think that at the end of the day is what it is. If people come to you to get coached and like you do the job, hey, dance away, do your thing. Like, don't matter. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I love that about what you do. So
Thank you.
And I got to say too, I mean, I know I am guilty as charged. I don't ever keep in contact with anybody. I fall off the planet and it be what it be. But I always watch everybody, and I got to I remember the years when we was in Hampton, and you was dealing with the Bill Bosby stuff, and I was like, yo, you should be hustling, yo, like, and that's something. And you probably remember that mutual friend Ton at the time. I mean, to me and Anti used to talk about it, like, yo, Taurea be hustling, bro, and then just to see you these many years later. As Baker said, just like you just you just keep the wheels moving, man, and I love it. I got nothing but respect for it, man. Like,
busting out TED Talks.
You know what I mean?
It
It was so hard doing that TED Talk because I was trying to be so ratchet. I gotta coach. So I was like, listen, you gotta tone it down. I'm like, them folk is not ready for all that. But
yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So we can go ahead and segue. Go ahead, Donnie.
No, you got it.
Fine. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Let's go. I was about to say, okay, here we go. Toast up. Everybody, they steps in. So let's talk shop, man. Let's talk. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm sorry. Look eye. Always look eye. I don't know. It's a thing I was introduced to out here. It was like, you got to look at eye. Okay, look at eye. So COVID-19. Let's talk about it. There's a new vaccine that's out, and I'm sure it's probably like 5 or 6 of them. This is the one that came out 2020. We about to have a 2021 John, a 2022 John. You get like a free pair of sneaks with it, like you know how they do. What is your thoughts really on the COVID-19 vaccine? Are you guys getting the vaccine? I'm not putting that crap in my body, so I mean, I'm just saying it is what it is.
The fact that I think I saw somewhere where they were saying they're going to start distributing it at Walmart's. Let me know. First of all, now I go to Walmart, but they're not going to distribute it at the Whole Foods. We're not going to the Kroger's, Walmart,
or Target.
Test these black people. That's what I'm thinking. Like, let's test. But no, I've actually heard they're calling it like there's been some side effects or what are they called, allergic reactions and stuff like that. Listen, black people, we don't even like to take the flu shot. So you already know. And if they're going to try to tell us that we can't travel or whatever it is, well, I guess we just won't be going nowhere because I'm not going to do it. We're going to let y'all do it and test it out. We'll see how y'all be 5 years from now.
You know what I think one of the craziest parts that is going to possibly come up with this is that, and this is where like being an entrepreneur is a great thing, is that there will be certain jobs that are going to try to mandate this, right? Unfortunately, going to put people in a real tight space, right? To have to say, I don't trust this, but I gotta get my coin. You know what I mean? This is what I do. I got a family. I got to provide. It's what I do, right? So I think that is probably going to be one of the biggest conundrums that people are dealing with this vaccine. Like for myself, of course, I'm like, I don't really know. This joint was made, I feel like, in a couple weeks, couple months.
Right, and they go together.
It's kind of tough to be like, yeah. I mean, I do agree with let's let all the politicians and top officials take it first. Let's see what happens there. Y'all go ahead and take that. Tell us about it. Come tell us about how it's working for you, right? Just because, I mean, it's already a thing especially in the black community. Vaccines aren't necessarily trusted, right? So now when you're telling me, oh, you threw one together, and it's like, oh, now you're about to try to mandate it. There's already conspiracy theories around it. Nah, we're not going to just jump out and be like, yeah, hit me up. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely nervous around what it's going to mean for a lot of people. Yeah,
it's scary. Yeah, Rashida said even in the education sector, like our kids and stuff, they can't go to school if they don't take the vaccine. I mean, I don't even like the way the new president-elect even was like, 100 million of us are gonna have it in our arms. And I just, the way, even the vernacular that he used, it's just, I don't know about it. I don't know. To throw something like you said so quickly together, we haven't been able to test out what it's going to do to people. I mean, and you're basically injecting people with the sickness itself. It's crazy to me. Yeah.
And I mean, like, you know, you just brought up the education sector. Like, I'm in the education sector. So one thing that, like, I was just on a webinar Friday about it, and actually students won't be able to get it for a while. The more pressing part of it now is teachers. Teachers may be mandated to get it, right? And teachers already have a lot of battles and a lot of things that they're fighting and better pay, and you know what I mean? So when I think about that teacher who's already not necessarily making what they deserve, right? When you mandate that and say, hey, this is what you have to do, then that's such a tough decision, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you make, that's almost an impossible decision to make. You know what I mean? For someone who's conflicted. If you want it, cool. Do your thing. If you bout it, like, hey, I'm with it. But if you're not, that's like almost an impossible decision to make. So I feel that we're going to go, even though this vaccine is coming and people are like, oh, this is going to be, you know, we're going to turn the corner. I feel like we may have some worse times coming.
It's gonna get I feel like people are going to fight back. I mean, I don't want to speak that into existence, and I don't even condone it, but I feel like ultimately listen, I don't even know. We just we got to get prayed up right now, because you forcing people to take it, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think you got a lot in that that statement right there. I mean, just how people are embracing COVID-19 regardless, and you know, we're just wearing masks alone dictates trends toward the direction of what you're talking about. So I definitely agree. With regard to the vaccine, like you know, so make no secrets about it. I mean, I've been a nerd my entire life. I mean, that is what it is, right? So I'm in I work in the tech industry, and I'm a consultant there. So and we're talking about aerospace, we're talking about softwares, we talk about trending patterns, so forth and so on. Part of my job is to maintain the infrastructure of whatever environment I'm in. And so when we have to do updates and revisions for software, you know, you look at, you know, 9 times out of 10, and let me hurry up and get to the point. Bottom line, if Microsoft issues a new patch, I'm not going to jump on the first patch that Microsoft issues, because it could potentially damage my infrastructure. So usually I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to look at it and, you know, do extensive testing and let it test itself out, so we can work out all of the bugs before we inject it into and throw it into production. And, you know, to me, you know, backing up what you guys have said, I mean, I feel it's the same thing. It feels like people in a rush to try to act like they're stabilizing the populace, but I mean, I think it's going to introduce more anarchy. More people going to get scared because they feel like they're forced to do this, and you know, just one thing leads into the other. So,
absolutely.
All it's going to take is that one person to take it, and they grow that third ear, or you know.
Well, they doing stuff. It's already weird stuff happening over in London, because you know they've been distributing it out there. And one of the things I saw was the leaking spinal fluid.
Never. Already.
First of all, listen.
How does it leak? Where is it coming? No.
I didn't even know the spine had fluid. Look.
Right. What are we doing?
Wait a minute. I need all my fluid in the spine.
Allergic reaction. First of all, no.
I don't have no spinal fluid to spare. I'm just saying.
I can't do it. Yeah.
I mean, when you said spinal, I was already done. I was like, that's the back. Negative. I like, don't touch it. Like, we good.
Man.
Cool.
Next up, Kamala Harris. How we feel about Kamala Harris, y'all? I mean, you know, the celebrated the fact that obviously she's first woman vice president. She's also the first person of color vice president. She's also the first vice president that's person of color that's a woman. So a lot of ground being broke, and she's from Howard.
Okay.
Then there's that. But and Howard's gonna hate me. I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, but what's your thoughts on Kamala Harris? Like, what's your thoughts?
First of all, I am very excited to celebrate women, Black women, women of color hitting these new levels.
Don't do it.
But like, we're not really stupid. It's like a lot of stuff I feel that takes place. It's just to be like, okay, let's bring a Black woman in so that we can now distribute these so she can be the face to tell everybody go take this medicine, because they already knew this is what was going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a lot of stuff. And so when we talk about politics, for me, politics is nothing but a whole lot of puppeteers that get these puppets. And so, yes, I am so excited to see this, because I can look at her and if I ever wanted to, which I would never, be in that space, I can say that can happen for me. But like, at the same token, it's almost like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to think about it. I mean, I think it's great, but I really don't know. I know a lot of people were upset because a lot of the laws that she's, been in favor for in the past, as far as locking up a lot of our own people, in the wrong games. And I know a lot of people who actually did suffer from that, just being from where I'm from. I won't necessarily place blame on that. I'm not that girl that's like, well, she locked up all our people. I mean, they were breaking the law. I think that one of the things I think that we have to be better at is educating our community, because right now, yeah, they were breaking the law. But when you look at life and you look at everything that's glamorized and that's glorified, it's the people who got money. And so where we come from, we only know certain ways to make it. You know what I mean? And so instead of us always focusing on trying to lock up young brothers and young sisters, primarily brothers, why don't we find ways to better educate? So yes, I get it. You had to lock folks up. But what I would have been proud to hear as a Black woman from Howard University is what kind of solutions was she putting in place to help educate our younger children who are coming up in those same communities. So that's why I'm just like, I don't really know. I feel like she probably for her whole life has wanted to be the president, which that might be the situation. Mm-hmm. And so she's just been doing what she needed to do. And she's just, oh man, damn, a puppet. That's what I'm gonna call it, a puppet. I'm just sorry, it's a puppet. That much, because it'd be a whole lot of fugazi stuff going on.
And I can totally understand where you're coming from with that, with what you're saying. It's weird because when I think about when Hillary was running, people were so like in this awe of, we might have the first woman president. They were really caught up by that. And I think about like Kamala went like being part of the ticket. She's, officially vice president-elect. And I don't know if people really, there's not that like same feeling right now. And I think it does have a lot to do with the politics of things. There's a side of me that's definitely proud of it. You know what I mean? Woman of color, woman, HBCU, like all of that, even if it is Howard. Like,
right. I know. Even if she did go to Howard, okay.
Still have like pride in that, but I definitely see this difference right now where, kind of like you're saying, people are quick to just talk about like, let's talk about her record, here in California, where she did lock up quite a few, you know what I mean? And then there's the argument of, is she doing her job, right?
Right.
Or like, so is it her who's the issue, or was it the system that was the issue, right? Like she's doing her job and she's enforcing a system that's broken, right? So I think about like, well, how did she try to affect that system? Kind of like what you're saying. What is she doing to affect it? I can't, the numbers are the numbers, but if you roll through a system and the shoe unfortunately fits at that point, she is doing her job, right? So she's showing up, doing her job. And we talked about that before. Do your job. If you show up, do what you do. But I think the system is broken, and it's been broken. And I would be, curious to know what she did or thought or wants to do to correct that part of it, right? But going back to that, it just, I don't feel the same amount of like,
it's not
in general, that like excitement or that like, wow, this is a moment, because it is a moment.
It really is.
Right?
It is.
Like, what? He's 46, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first, right? There's this picture where they show all the white men, right? Vice presidents, and then her. Like, literally, there will never be another her.
No.
She's the first one for two categories, really three, but let's say two. Woman and woman of color, right?
Mm-hmm. And probably first HBCU.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another one. I mean, if you think about it, that definitely put HBCU up on the map.
Yeah.
So
and just for that to be as monumental as it is, and for it to not
celebrate it as much, I don't
have that celebration as much. I mean, part of that to me is Trump. I think Trump's such a big, old, like loud presence.
Yeah.
That just beating him became a thing. So beating him, it didn't matter who it was. It was like, okay, cool. Somebody beat him in the election. To me, has taken away some of the wow. Like, even when Barack got in, right? Barack had that wow. Barack had that moment where it was like, whoa,
yeah,
what's happening? I don't think she's had that moment. And I don't know if it'll come later, maybe at inauguration, but I don't think so then either. I think it's like, I think she's going to have to do some really great work in the position.
What do they, like, what does she do as a vice president? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. You know, Atlanta, or Georgia, sorry. Georgia has a Senate race coming up. And if she becomes the deciding vote, then she can do a lot.
Okay.
If she becomes that deciding vote, if Democrats take the 2 seats in Georgia, which who knows what's going to happen. There's a lot of politics there. But if they take those 2 seats and it becomes 50-50 and she's the deciding person, I think she can go down in history because she will be the person to push through a lot of legislation that will be interesting. You know what I mean? Then it's like, hey, like Biden, like, you know, we had this conversation. I've had this conversation with friends. We've had it on here about, like, did Barack do enough or not? We've talked about Congress being against him. If that happens, it's like Biden, you have no excuse. Right? Everything is set up for you. So there is a place. I mean, even without it, she can still do some things. But if she gets that, then she's set up to do some things. A lot of things.
Well, my question with it is that being the fact that, how can I put this? Being that we are in tough times, we are definitely more dire times than we were when Obama first came in office. Mm-hmm. And the mess that needs to be cleaned up now by the pardon, if you will, adults in the room, the new adults that just got elected in, they got to come in and clean house. And understanding and realizing that we have so many issues to clean up. Do you think that counts against her and Biden more so than everybody else? Because I believe that it's one of those things as to where, it's one of those things that I think there's so many things to look at and say that there's issues everywhere. And for me, in my position is I look at Kamala and I say, well, I mean, you know, as long as she, like you said, shows up for work, does her job, I don't expect her to handle everything. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, I'm pretty sure that there's issues farther than I can see. You know what I mean? But if she just shows up to work, comes to work, you know, puts her heels in the ground and works, same thing with Joe, then we're going to be all right for at least 4 years. You know what I mean? But I think the expectation is that we've already seen a Barack, and he's a person of color. So that sets a precedent and a tone for the next, who is Kamala. Even though she's a vice president, it's still like, okay, I've already seen that. What you got? Mm-hmm. And it kind of feels that way to me. I could be loud and wrong with all of those, but that's the way it feels like with me. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Man, well, this is definitely a hell of a time to be elected. I mean, you have a lot to clean up, but also in that way, you know, sometimes it's like, well, when you pull it back so far, the only place you can go is forward. So it, for the things that they could be able to do could look really, really good on them. And you know what? I was also, while you guys are saying this, one thing that I'm always like, I always think to myself is like, I say stuff like, I just got to stay focused so I can get this money, get this bag, or get to wherever the level of success I need to get to. So when I get there, y'all better be careful because I am going to be out of control. So I even wonder and think about like if that's like a plan that she has too. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm gonna fall in line and do what I gotta do so that I can get to where I need to get to. So then I can come back. That's the hope that I have. And so that's why I don't want to be too tough on her of anything that she's had to do for the good old boys to be in good graces with them so that she can get to that position. Because unfortunately, when we are people of color, sometimes that's what you got to do until you get to that position where you can, run some shots and call some shots. And so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it at that. So yes, we are definitely at a position where, shoot, we at the bottom. So, I mean, all they got to do is fix one little thing and they going to look good. So now it's time to, okay, let's fix some situations. But also when she does, because I believe that she's going to run for president again. Mm-hmm. And when she does, and she, gets that position, if she wins it, then now she has the opportunity to do even more. So you got to sometimes play the part in order to get to that level of where you can actually call the shots. Play the part, call the shots. Okay, that's good right there.
She about to use that. That's about to be a book. That's about to be the birth of a book right now. You know what I'm saying? You
better learn so you can call the shots.
Like she's saying, if you think of it, if you got a dirty ass house, you may invite the worst maids over possible. Even the job they gonna do is gonna make it look a little better, right? So I mean, there is a place where I feel like they are handed some pretty low hanging fruit right now. They just got to pivot, you know what I mean, and do what they kind of do. I mean, as far as her, like you said, politics is politics. Like I was having a conversation with somebody, and I said, when you think about when people use that term. Like if you're at work, whatever job you're in, you're like, it's all politics here, or it's all political here. Mm-hmm. That term means it's games. Like you got to play the game, you got to figure it out. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's come to mean. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like I think she did her job. Yeah. Now the system is corrupt. The system is corrupt, or the system is broken. It's broken. But I think she did her job. And we'll, her story isn't finished. She got some things she can do now. So I'm definitely watching and interested to see what she does.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think she's definitely she has aspirations other than just being vice president. I mean, I think that's her the understanding that the race is bigger than just 1 and 2. You know what I mean? And that's what it feels like for me with her. With regard to I the one thing I can say about her is that I do not feel she's going to fail at her tasks. She gives me that comfort. Yeah. So her being the best qualified for that position, or any position for that matter, unless she does something the contrary, I feel that she's going to give us the best that she can. So I can only appreciate her for that, regardless of what her record is, or her track record, or things that she has or has not done.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same way about other people, but
that part.
That part.
That part.
But with Kamala, I definitely do feel it. And again, and I got to say too, not every decision is going to be generally received by everybody, even though it may be the best move for, the greater good. I just want to throw that out there. I guess I'm that guy. You know what I mean?
That's real.
Yeah.
Well, so let's transition the thought a little bit, right? Because we're talking about Kamala Harris, who is an alum of HBCU. We're all we're products of HBCUs. Okay. What is your thoughts about HBCUs? And this is and I kind of want to attack it in my perspective. With you, Taurea, is that you seem to have your finger on the pulse of what celebrity is, right? As far as knowing that, like, it's a difference between people who kind of get thrust into celebrity and don't know what the heck they're doing, but you've always kind of seemed to get it, right? So you put yourself there. If there's anybody I can say that's self-made, it's you. Do you feel that the selection process for people of color of going to an HBCU or going to a non-HBCU, let's just say that. Do you feel it is impactful or less as impactful as people may perceive that to be?
Okay, so listen, I mean, I know that, I've been an entrepreneur for so long. So for me, have I even ever used my degree? No, I haven't. As far as to get a job. So where the impact comes from is the fact that when I mentioned that, because most of my clients tend to be Black, when I mentioned I went to Hampton or I am a graduate of an HBCU, there's an immediate connection. So in business, when people do business with you, they do business with you because they know, like, and trust you. The fact that I have the stamp of Hampton University on my back, that brings an additional level of trust. And I can only speak in the world of entrepreneurship. So I believe that me having that experience of going to Hampton and being able to use that experience, it has benefited me in many ways. I believe now, though, just with where the state of the world is in, with the whole movements that are going on, the power that HBCUs can be dynamic. But also the challenges that we have in HBCUs is that they are HBCUs. I mean, I don't know if y'all ever had challenges, but like financial aid used to be a hot damn mess.
Whipple Barn, bro.
Lord, Whipple Barn. Like, God, you had to know somebody. I had to know, like, I'm glad I was on the dance line because, well, one year, when I wasn't on the dance line, and my financial aid didn't kick in, I had to take a whole semester off, and it was like so horrible for me. I was so depressed. And then when I was dancing again, I had told the coach, and he was like, "Yo, just let me know, and I'll push it through." Like, but why we got to do that? You don't got to do that at a PWI. You don't have to do that at a PWI. Your stuff is ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And so, while I am so grateful that I went to a HBCU, I just hope that, it's been years since I've been there. I hope that they have gotten, better with those things. But I think it does carry a level of prestige to say that you went to a historically Black college or university. And I wish more of us would just continuously do more to give back. That's one thing, though, it's a lack. And so I remember I was talking to a good friend of mine, and they were talking about, how much money do we actually bring back to our universities? And you find that many times we don't. And that's because we don't carry that. I don't know. I don't even know. Because I know a lot of folks, they love to say they went to Hampton or love to say they went to North Carolina A&T or Tuskegee or whatever, but we don't get money back. So I don't know. I mean, it's a mix, but I'm very proud of it. And I know me as a woman from an HBCU, I got to do more to give back. And when I do decide, if I decide to have, I ain't got no kids, but if I have some, I would want them to go to a HBCU to experience Black culture, to be around our people, and learn how to move, amongst our folks. So.
Good answer. Baker, what you think?
No, that's you bring up a lot of great points. It's weird. Like, I think in my career thus far, it's weird. I don't know if Hampton has given me, by the namesake, has given me any advantage. But what I learned at Hampton has given me advantages. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I can't say that, I went to Hampton, like, especially in Cali. Like now, I'd be like, Hampton University, they'd be like, huh?
Right.
They don't know it. Like, it's not a thing. It doesn't stand out to them. I definitely think on the East Coast, you can say it, and it definitely pulls more weight. Out here, not much. Doesn't pull much for them. Uh-huh. And just to say that, like, there's not many colleges on the East Coast that necessarily pull a lot of weight when you mention it out here, unless it's like a huge, college. But what I learned, the experiences I had, have definitely like helped me navigate and maneuver, like in the corporate world, in my career, in the things I do. Like, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. You know what I mean? Like, just those things. Who said it? I think we had Simeon on recently. He made a comment that really stuck with me. He was like, one of the things that was great about being at a HBCU was that I think it was Simeon. Might have been someone. Either way, the comment was that I didn't have to worry about if whatever was happening, I didn't have to worry about if it was something that was racist or not.
Man, that's good.
Like, if I didn't make this or didn't get this, I didn't think it was racist. I was like one of the few times in your life that thought didn't have to come up.
Never comes.
No, it was law.
I was like, damn, huh?
That was law.
Law, okay, law.
It was law.
That thought, I was like, whoa. Like, I never really thought about it like that, but that is so true. That's probably one of the only times in my life that thought never came up in my time there, right? And that was just crazy, like that thought. But then just meeting people from different areas, from the South, from where I was, from the West Coast, being in the marching band, like traveling as we did, like it just opened up so many different things and made me understand so many different ways to maneuver. I definitely think the experience has done more for me than the namesake of Hampton. I can't say that putting that on the resume has done much.
See, I wouldn't even know. You know, when you said that though, Nick, do you think that created a false sense of reality though? Damn, like if you've never experienced, because for me, I think I always say like, I don't think I've ever really dealt with like blatant racism. Maybe people have looked at me, oh, this black girl, because like I'll go in restaurants where I be the only black person and I see it, but I don't care. But I wonder that when you say that, because these are our learning ages. I don't know. I guess I never thought about it like that until you said it. But these are our ages where we are learning how to be adults. And I wonder, does that create challenges though? I don't know. Y'all ever thought about it? Like, because you know, you're not missing an opportunity because you're black. But then when you get into an environment where that could be the case, you don't really know how to handle it.
Well, I'll put two things on the table with that. One, I'll say I think it does depend on where you're at. Because I will say, years 1 through 18, I had some experiences of where, me and Donnie came from that definitely showed me levels of racism.
So many stories.
And then when I think of Hampton, I'm saying at Hampton University, I didn't have to think about racism.
Gotcha.
Not necessarily Hampton.
Okay.
We lived in Hampton Harbors, and I got stopped and frisked by police saying, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like, I live here. Here's my key. And they like, let me see your ID. Hold up, stand against this wall. So I can't say it was Hampton.
Oh, you was dealing with all of that. Dang.
Oh, these things happened.
Survived.
But at least at the campus, that was the safe haven. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So I think it just depends on what you go through, where you're at. Like, I mean, it can show up anywhere, not to say like a certain neighborhood, a certain zip code has more than the other, but it just depends on your experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like what you happen to be involved in, or like be like where. I mean, it can show up when you go to the grocery store. Like,
True.
you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to say be involved in like, oh, I was involved in this, so that's why I saw it. But yeah, unfortunately, I definitely had moments that I think with him making that comment made me contrast. Damn, my mind used to be like this on the normal, but at campus, I can't say that ever was a thought.
Right.
Whether it be why I got a certain grade, why my financial aid was hard to get, or why I didn't come through, or why I had to go, get somebody to come help me walk me through the line and be like, hey, they're giving me troubles down there. It never was that they're being racist. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, my walk is weird, man. I've always kind of just felt that the time when I was around you guys back in college, man, I mean, that's one thing I had to understand is that I had to learn how to be comfortable in my own skin. And I wasn't even cognizant that I had those issues, obviously, until I got older. I never really experienced any of that at Hampton either. As Nick said, like, where we're from, you get the full spectrum of just about everything from weather to race issues and race influence, struggle, financial, like, marital, like we've seen a lot in that region. Part part of who I am is the fact that I went to Hampton University. I'll never forget that. And it helped to shape me in a lot of ways that being anywhere else wouldn't have. And I'm pretty sure that who I am as a person. That said, I also worked at the University of Maryland for about a decade after I left Hampton. I got to see how they work and understand what it was like to be. It's like Hampton taught us how to be Black people.
Yeah.
And that's what and I don't mean to, I don't want to offend anybody who hears this. I want to say that I feel that Hampton taught us how to be Black people, proper Black people. But when I was at University of Maryland, even as a faculty member there, we were taught how to be Black people living in the rest of everything else. Mm-hmm. Chaos, that there is with life. Whether or not you have to deal with this race over here or the image of this race. We had at University of Maryland one year. It was an Asian dude that went across Kappa Alpha Psi, and it was like, what happened? What just happened? Like, you know what I mean? But it was a lot. It was a lot with it that year. You know what I mean? And it was like, and he's a dope dude. Like, he was dope. He was really legitimately a good person. But it was just like, but you know what I mean? Like the stigma. It's like, but typically this isn't for you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So I'd say like this, me being a parent, because I am a parent of three beautiful kids. And I got to say, the thing that I teach them is how to be the best version of themselves. They might not always appeal or appear to fit in with everybody else, but their story is not everybody else's story.
Yes.
So the narrative is different. So when we talk about HBCUs, I have nothing but love and respect and everything for Hampton University. And hey, look at here. Gotta stop. Hey, Keisha.
Okay.
Keisha!
KCB, my bad.
Clock booth.
KCB.
Look, Keisha looking all good in that picture too, girl.
Exactly. Yeah. Shout out to KCB, man. And 12, got a beautiful family, man. Beautiful family.
Right. Ebony Fire in the house.
Yeah, and low down. Yeah. But saying all that to say is, like I said, I mean, coming up around an HBCU and understanding that, and then going to a charted and ranked, let's be realistic, white university.
Yeah.
And there's extremes, and I think it really is kind of a la carte as far as life is concerned. The one thing I can say is that I wish I would have had somebody that was knowledgeable of the territory that can help guide me through the Hampton experience to make the Hampton experience that much more better for me. If that makes sense. Because I mean, the way I navigated it through Hampton, I feel good at it. Obviously, I feel I could have done more, but that's neither here nor there. I walked away with it happy. But knowing what to do with what I just got,
yeah,
or how I could have expanded on it, I really wish that things would have been different for me to fully understand it. And that I feel that's what my job is as a parent now. That, like, my oldest is 14, and she's a freshman in high school. So it's like I got to steer in that direction, and I want to make sure she has that understanding of when that decision comes. What are you chasing? Are you chasing your heritage, or are you chasing your future? Mm. So that's my thought. Sorry, I didn't mean to get too deep with it.
No, absolutely. I think I appreciate it way more now than when I, even the first couple of years after graduating, because now it's like when you say, I wish I would have learned how to like maneuver through it or leverage those opportunities, because you don't really think about it while you're in the picture or in the frame.
Right.
But now when you hear our VP went to Howard, you're like, dang. And then you hear about how we have billionaires and millionaires that are Hampton University graduates. And you're like, what? I don't know them. Like, I should be knowing these people, or I should have learned how to be better at understanding this system and staying connected. And so, yeah, but I definitely I understand exactly what you're saying, Donnie, but I have a different appreciation now though, for it, for my degree that I don't use, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to be at homecomings very soon. Don't worry about it, because I don't never come, but I'm coming.
Whenever we get back, I've been playing at the club and then they shut it down.
The next one we have gonna be lit though. You already know. So everybody gonna be there. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Get out the house.
It's gonna be a fellowship, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man, hilarious. All right, so let's one last topic. We want to throw this out there and see what you think about that, Taurea. Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and walk away with that. What's your thoughts about Kevin Samuels? Man?
I mean,
about him or about the conversation that became very controversial?
The conversation, and then if you want to, you feel free to speak your piece.
Well, I wanted to talk about this with Taurea just because I know something that you did recently. You kind of put up some resume or the things you needed to see or wanted to see, let's see, in a man that you want to have in your life, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Kevin Samuels kind of falls into that category of women reaching out to him to see how can they get this high valued man, as he calls it, or as it's been called. So that's why I really wanted to see what are your thoughts on that? What made you put the resume out there? It's kind of a broad topic, but let's just jump in.
Well, listen, okay. First of all, the reason why I put it out there is because I'm a single woman, and I think a lot of times, especially in my age, I'm 39, so I'm just put my age out there, and I'm not married. And a lot of times at my age, women and men will pressure or push you into a position where you feel like I need to hurry up and settle down or be with someone. And so when I do those things, it's really not because I cannot find a date. Right. Trust me, that's never a problem. But I'm okay with putting myself out there. And a lot of times you can't be doing all that, or it's what the Bible says. Well, he can't find you if you don't know you're available. Okay, first of all. So I think that's the first thing we need to talk about. As women, I've had several people, they're like, well, I didn't even know you were single, right? Because even if I am in a situationship or whatever, you're not gonna know. So that's the first thing. I don't ever have a fear of putting myself out there, but also a lot of the people that follow me tend to be single women who also aspire to be extremely successful. And I remember having an argument with a woman. I was in network marketing, and she told me she didn't want to hit a certain level of success in the company because she was trying to get married. And so for me, and this is no shade to anybody that, I grew up with, but it's a lot of people that I even know that got married and now they're going through divorces because they've started to realize who they are and realize this was not the journey for them. And so I'm always like we cannot be judging each other based on, our journeys that we've been through. And women, it is okay to put yourself out there. You got to do it. Second thing, let's talk about for those women who want men who earn a certain type of income, right? So first of all, 9 times out of 10, am I going to find a man that earns a specific kind of income scrolling through Instagram? Probably not, because he busy. He busy out here getting to the bag, right? And so when women talk about they're looking, because I want to talk about how what she was saying what she wanted, the girl. You got to put yourself in them environments where those men are, right? And so while I'm single, I do know where to go. If I'm listen, okay, I'm trying to get me a rich man. If you're trying to be with the rich man when the games open back up, ladies, you got to be able to afford your tickets to be on the wood if you want to be at the games. Ladies, you're trying to be where the men at with the money. You need to be at the National Black Caucus or something like that. I ain't been to it yet, but I heard it's popping. I heard y'all be all threw up in there.
You're in good company over there.
The thing is, I do believe in being okay with, and this just goes back to me just being myself. I'm happy, honestly. I really am happy with where I am in my life. And whenever God does decide to put me in front of that right person, because I did go down the path where I thought I was with someone that was my soulmate. But whenever God does put me in that path, I'll be cool with it. But for now, I'm okay. And I'm okay with telling people this is what I want. And if you know what I want, then okay, we fine with that too. You know what I mean? So yeah, but okay. So can we talk about the guy? We get over that, but I want to talk about that interview.
You got to keep going.
Okay. So old girl gets up there and she asked the man, just to kind of just summarize it. I'm assuming she was asking, how can I find a successful man because I'm successful?
Yeah.
So the first question he asked her, well, no, she asked him, well, can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all hear that? When she was like, well, can you see me?
Yep.
Right? So I was like, okay.
Yep.
So you must think you fine, sweetie, because you asked, well, can you see me? So he said, on a scale of 1 to 10,
what do you rate yourself?
What do you rate yourself as? Now you want a man that's a 10. And men, if I'm wrong, man, tell me if I'm wrong, man. You are
I wish I could go with you on that journey. No, I'm just
okay. We back.
Yeah, we back.
Okay.
We back.
Donnie's scared to say. Listen, when you see a woman, y'all see a woman first because of her looks. That's it, right? So if you feel that you are a 10, and the woman tell you that she thinks she's a 5, are you going to desire her? No. So where she messed up first was, regardless of whatever he thought, because I done seen men with women who I'm like, oh, she must have had some confidence in her. She already felt she was below average. And so the first thing, ladies, is if we're trying to get us some successful men that we feel are 10s, we've got to feel that we are a 10. Because if you don't even feel that you're a 10, you are not attracting that man because he's going to see right all through that. So that's the first thing. I had put a post. I was like, where she first messed up is she let that man punk her into talking about that she thought she was a 5 with no makeup, a 6, and then she was a 6 with makeup. Sweetie, I am a 10 with no makeup, and I am a 10 with makeup. Like either way, I'm a 10, like period. Okay. So I don't have no problems with finding successful or whatever you want to rate them, because of course it's always in the eyes of the beholder. But that to me was crazy. Now, was he harsh on her? Probably. But I think sometimes as women, we don't want to hear the truth from y'all. And when we finally do hear the truth, we can't handle it. But I think we need to learn that if we say that's what we want to know, we got to be able to receive it, because it might be a cause too why some of us are single. But I believe in different reasons why many Black women are single today. It has nothing to do with being desirable or being unsuccessful or successful. We're just in a different age. And so, that's how I felt. That's how I felt about it.
I mean, I think, watching it, and one of my homies showed me the video, and we were watching the video. It was like actually 3 couples watching the video together. And I mean, there was a lot of like hostility from the women that was like, how dare him talk to her like that, right? And I think what you said, I mean, I think there were certain comments he made that he was being extra, you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, she was coming looking for something. And he was like, look, I'm around the type of men that you're asking to be around or that you say you want. And these are the things that I have found. These are the commonalities that I see that they want, right? And I think some of what he's saying wasn't necessarily the nicest stuff of this is what they want, but it might have been real. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, to me, it felt like he was almost warning her, like, this is what you're asking for to an extent, and this might be what it comes with. Are you ready for that? Mm-hmm. And then he got to the point where he was like, you're not ready for that. It's not you. You know what I mean? And that's where it's like, okay, whatever. He took it the way he took it. But I think there was some substance in what he was saying, in the sense that, hey, you're asking for this, and he can't necessarily speak for every man that's in that, tier or whatever she was looking for. But he's like, I got a good group, a circle that's made up of this top 10% that you're talking about. And this is what I hear. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think the guy who showed me was like, if you really look at a lot of his interviews and things that he does, like he does a lot of research. Mm-hmm. He actually has a lot of numbers to back this up. He'll look at divorce rates, and he'll look at, he'll have surveys. He'll see what people are saying, see why people got divorced. You know what I mean? And then come with some of the things that he's saying. So I think what you said is true. Like, sometimes the truth ain't nice, but it still may be the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if anything, I think I mean, she definitely had some issues that she needed to deal with herself. Like you said,
a beautiful woman.
Exactly. Rating herself a 5 and a 6 was a whole nother problem.
Yeah.
I think going into it, if this is what you're looking for, you can't shut off that may be what you get in going into that situation.
Absolutely.
I don't think he was totally off by like saying, hey, this is what it is. I don't necessarily agree with some of the things he said to her.
His delivery was real flaw. It was real flaw.
Exactly.
I mean, I think it definitely brought a new conversation just for us as women to understand. I think, social media glamorizes, get in the bag. So women think that, well, I'm going to go over here and get this bag, or, I'm going to look or portray the part of getting the bag, and maybe that's good and desirable. I don't think so. Not no real alpha man. Like, he ain't worried about that. Ladies, we still got to look fly and sexy for our man, because that's what he's looking at, ladies. He's looking at the sex appeal. Y'all can disagree, but I'm just telling the truth. But yeah, I mean, like, there's certain things I think that as women, we think that that's what a man is desiring, and that's not always the truth. And so I think that, you do got to listen to what he was trying to say and not be so defensive. If y'all did get a chance to see it, to receive what he was giving, because as a woman who is striving to be a multimillionaire, I already know, like, when I do decide to get that settled down statement, like, I'm stated down to set it down. I understand that that's not going to be what's necessarily going to be the attractive factor for me to settle down with a man. Like, I have to provide some of those other sides, that the femininity of a woman that a man is desiring. So
that's deep. Yeah, you just said a lot. That's deep.
Yeah,
because like, woo, that's a deep statement. That's heavy. That's like a whole nother episode right there. That's deep.
Yeah. Like, they think I'm in my relationships. Ironically, people think that I'm like very, like, the way I am as a speaker or a coach, but I'm opposite of that. So when somebody gets that chance to see that side of me, I am very vulnerable and because I understand that, but not because I'm just doing it for show. This is what I seek. And so I seek to have that man that, can be able to step into that place and, of me being a woman and being feminine and not being aggressive. And I don't even know if I could deal with a dude that would allow me to be the way that I am as a business woman. Well, that would be a turn off.
Let me ask you this. In conjunction with everything that's said, because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see the video with Kevin Samuels. So I'm going obviously based off of my opinions and beliefs based off of what you said. But let me ask you this: being a woman that has achieved the success that you've achieved, and you know who you are as a person, what you're aspiring for, where you are. You seem very present of self, which is that's also another thing that good men want. What does the word connection mean to you when speaking about relationships?
Okay, connection.
Yeah.
Okay, so connection for me is more of an emotional connection. Connection means conversation. Connection means intimacy, but connection does not mean competition. And so I don't ever want to be in a relationship where I feel like I am competing in any kind of space. Like we mesh, and when we get older, of course, everything in regards to relationship, it changes, and our understanding of ourselves, it changes. At first, we just want a title, but now I don't want just a title. Like you said, I want that connection. I want that desire. I want that, the intimacy where we can have conversations that dig deeper than just what's surface level, what everybody's talking about on social media. So for me, that's what connection is. Right.
And I asked, I'm sorry, go ahead, Baker.
No, go ahead.
I asked that question because, again, to me, that's what it sees as far. It seems like to me, with just, again, a topical oversight of what was said, with Kevin Samuels and the young lady he was talking to, you guys' commentary on it is that a lot of times with relationships, it's just, I don't think people grasp the understanding of what connection is. You know, you go into it with preconceived, and I've been guilty of it. And being an adult, part of me transitioning to be an adult was to understand that there were a lot of things I failed at too. And having an understanding of what connection is, because I had a preconceived idea about what the relationship was supposed to be without actually knowing, and not having enough awareness or thought process in order for within myself to really be able to legitimately listen. Feeds into that with the word connection, that they're associated to me, at least in my perspective. So, you know, that's why I asked that question. But to be a woman of color in today's society, and the having understand that the women of color have dealt with a certain amount of oppression or disrespect over the years, would you say that it's warranted for the way that it appears that a lot of women feel, as far as by way of the presence that they have to carry?
So, you know, I don't know if it's, for me, I don't know that if this is a presence that I feel that I have to carry.
I get that.
It's me. You know what I mean? Like, this is just me. Like, I don't walk out the house and say, I have to look like a strong Black woman.
Oh, yeah.
I am that. And so, you know, but yeah, because listen, like, I know a lot of times, like, you know, people say, well, Black women, y'all mouthy, y'all too, you know, you got too much to say.
And that's what I'm getting at.
And I do understand that, right? But, you know, well, that's me. And so if that means ultimately that can cause, now that's what I'm saying, like in a relationship, it's a little bit different. But if that causes me to be in a position where I cannot connect with someone, I mean, it is what it is. If somebody does not want to take the time to understand, yes, as a Black woman, I've got so many things that I could talk about right now of what I've had to, and what I still to this day have to overcome in the world of business. Like, I could be doing a video where I'm talking straight business, and a man will come up there and disrespect me and de-edify me down to my looks, as if what I'm saying in my mouth means nothing. And so, yes, through the years, I think maybe I've become even more boisterous, but it's not me just trying to do it for the sake of, because I'm a Black, it just is who it is. This is just me. Now, with that stated, we've had to be that way because, again, we are running more businesses. We are running more corporations. We are running more jobs. My grandmother was passive because she didn't work in the job space. She didn't leave the house. She cooked. Okay. It was a different world. And so, and even in many of the other nationalities, their worlds, it's still that way. As a child, they are taught and brought up. But as Black women, we're taught. My mom, one thing I'll never forget, and my mom, you know, may she rest in peace, I'll never forget the day when I was like, I had to be maybe 9, 10 years old. And she told me, don't you ever depend on nobody to take care of you. And so these are things that we're just taught in our community. And so when people, and it's crazy to me that Black men sometimes don't get it, because 9 times out of 10, y'all might have a sister and y'all saw how she was taught. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is a fight. It is a fight as a Black woman that, you know, she's so strong. She got so much to say, but, you know, it's cool. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with who I am. And the man that can handle all of that, which he'll be pleasantly surprised, because at home, he's like, she don't even act like that at the crib. He'll be all right. But, you know, he got to break through that and stop being so scary. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
no, I'm just joking.
I was with you on the ride. I was like, okay.
I mean, I think there are definitely a lot of successful Black women who deal with that. That I'm trying to think of the right word to explain that misconception that, oh, sometimes like the angry Black woman, or, oh, you know, if I raise my voice, I'm angry. Right. And it made you just feel passionate about the topic you're talking about. Right. In comparison to like maybe the white counterpart that will get oh, she's so passionate about what she's talking about, compared to the Black women who'll get, oh, angry Black woman coming out, she got loud, or her voice raised. Right. And I think that is a battle that is, you know, a bias that's out there, that Black women definitely have to face, especially in, I think as more successful they become, the more it can show up. Like if you push for what you want, then it's like, oh, here it comes. It's like, no, I just know what I want. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Because it would be okay in any other realm or any other, like again, if it was the white female, she's passionate. If it's a male, it's, he's commanding, he's showing power. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that's something that Black women face, which, I think.
I just think that we can't focus on, like, as a Black woman, though, the more that we focus on the disadvantage of being a powerful Black woman, the less that we're able to impact. So that's what I'm trying to say. Because yes, it's out there. I mean, it is what it is. This is the world we live in. And as long as I'm, speaking loud and speaking with my hands and speaking with a little bit of, deepness in my voice, because let's just be real, a Black woman's voice sounds different than anybody else's voice. People are going to always have something to say. But with me, I just choose not to dwell upon the fact that they calling me this or talking about that, because the more that I dwell upon the things that I don't desire, the further away I am from the things that I do. So we don't have time to be worried about, well, what's the disconnect? What's the challenge of the Black woman? What's the problem? Y'all need to stop worrying about the wrong things, ladies. And we got to focus on where we're going. And the more of us that get to where we want to be, Kamala Harris, VP, first Black woman of color, ain't nobody calling her an angry Black woman, but she sure did check the hell out of your boy when she checked him. But then nobody called her an angry Black woman, right? I don't think they did. I don't know.
Look.
She got
actually. They did have their memes. And they did have their conversations around her faces and how she would say that I'm speaking, and said, "Oh my God, she was so angry." Like Fox News did have their moments.
See, I don't even watch none of that stuff.
But it is what it is. Like you said, she's still in the space.
Right.
She's still in the space, and I think what you said earlier about even bringing it back to like relationships, like there's gonna be somebody who that's perfect for. Like you in that space is going to be perfect for, and then they will learn or like be able to uncover the other things that you're talking about, like inside behind the closed door, where it's like, oh, there's this other vulnerable side that you show me. Cool. Like that person will show up, and that's for them, right? Yeah. Even when you talked about competition, like there's couples who want to compete with each other. You know what I mean? And that's their thing. Like they feel like they make each other better. In my head, I feel like Jay-Z and Beyonce compete. Like, I feel like they're like, oh, that was dope. Okay, you put out a dope album. I got you. Oh, you just got that business? Okay, I got you. You know what I mean? And that's just what they do, and that works for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the key. Is Donnie, you said it earlier, like having this preconceived notion of the relationship is going to be like it has to be this or whatever. Like, I mean, to some extent it is that, because you'll find a person that fits it, but you also have to be open to what it becomes, right? So, yeah.
Well, with that being said, and I totally hear you and agree with you. I think when I was saying it from a perspective of knowing thyself, and I think a lot of people they don't take the responsibility to look at thyself.
Yeah.
To understand that you need to be 100% before you can give 100% to expect 100%.
That part.
And so when you have scenarios that you're going into it, and again, me being one of them, it's well, you're supposed to do this or you're supposed to do that, or the thing that I absolutely hate worse than anything is that, well, you a man, you need to take the trash out. Well, that's great. But the trash, you can do that too. And I'm not saying that that's your job. That's like because that's like you coming home and being like, I mean, but what's up with that? What's up with that food on the plate though?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think
what about you? Right.
But then it gets into tit for tat. Then it opens up a whole different Pandora's box. Whereas at the end of the day, the connection is that the best connections that work are usually the connections that I, and again, this is my opinion, that listen, I work with you, we work together, like we trying to keep this shit from sinking. So at the end of the day, you get out there, but whatever you need to do to get the bag, baby, get the bag, bring it back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I got you. Don't worry about it. You got to take a week off of work because you got to go to this conference and go get the bag. All right, well, the light's going to be on when we get back and so forth. So, like, you know what I mean? You can't worry about stuff that you can't control at the end of the day because you create more issues. Again, that's just the big thing. It's not for everybody.
No, I think you do. I think you speak some real stuff. And I think the magic happens when you do find that person that, like, let's say you get into it and maybe their thought coming in was that, oh, the man takes out the trash, right? But they with you and it's like, you know what? Okay. I know he's a guy who's like, you can do it too. I'm going to do it today, right? and they do it, and then it's not. They still may think in their head, "This ain't my thing," but that relationship that you're building, that give and pull, that you know what I mean? You're gonna give a little. The 80-20 rule of the person usually comes in with about 80% of what you want, 20%. You know, it could be a little different, but that doesn't mean that they don't work on that 20%. That doesn't mean that they don't hear it. That doesn't mean that they'll be like, you know what, I don't agree with it, but I love you, and I'm gonna give a little. And that's when the magic happens, because you're like, damn, I know that ain't your thing, but you took out the trash. That makes me want to go take out the trash for the rest of the damn month, because you did it that one time, and I know it's not your thing.
And the way you did it was amazing. Like, you know,
you feel what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it's just like those are the moments that like start to make the blending happen. To where it's like, okay, got it. You know, I feel where you're coming from. Again, it's not about that person becomes exactly what you say you like, quote unquote, need. Like, I need a woman who thinks it's okay for her to take out the trash, and like that's what she has to be. Like, that woman cannot think that's the thing, but still do it. And that, to me, is what, you know, from my perspective, is the magic, because you got to give a little sometimes. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. And relationships take a level of maturity, and just like what you were saying as well, Donnie, just having an understanding of who you are. And so when you know who you are, and you know, like, me doing this is not going to change anything about who I am, right? So I think that brings a lot of power into it. And so, yeah, but I'm just, and I guess right now, I'm just at that level where I don't like, I have low tolerance for things that are kind of like what's the word that people always ask me? What are your I don't know why I'm thinking deliverables.
Non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables. Yeah. I'm thinking business non-deliverables. You're non-negotiable. So I have certain non-negotiables, but then I have other things where it's like, it's not that big of a deal, but like I am at a specific number where I do have some non-negotiables. And so if you can't really link up to those non-negotiables, it's not that. And then because I am a woman who earns a significant income, and I do like an alpha male, I can't have no alpha male that has a problem with the type of business or success that I have. That's my challenge. I gotta have I like alpha. I like a man that run things. You know what I'm saying? Ironically, people think I want to run everything. I do not. I be tired. Maybe what I need to do.
You gotta be tired. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Oh man.
All the time.
Well, listen, I know we short on time and everything, and we definitely want to respect everybody's time, especially you, Taurea, because we know you're an entrepreneur extraordinaire, and definitely we've gone a little bit over time, but nonetheless, it was definitely a pleasure to have you on, and hope to bring you back if you're interested.
Yeah, for my Hampton brothers.
Indeed. Well, any other things, any shout outs that you want to give or to, you know, anybody that you just kind of want to spotlight really quick before we
well, I saw a few people that were watching Rashida. Let's see,
like T Smeezy.
Yeah, they were smart conversations. And Sunday. Shout out to all of my urban CEOs, as well as my authorpreneurs, and definitely all of my HBCUs. How you doing? Yes. How you doing? And I definitely want to just shout you guys out. Thank you so much for inviting me. Man, we got to definitely make sure, like you were saying, we got to do better at just being better connected, doing stuff for the culture. And yeah, I'll be back whenever you want me to. So thank you for having me.
Cool.
Awesome. Love it.
Cool.
In the grand scheme of things, man, we just, like you said, we got to do better to stay together and stay connected, especially in these times with COVID-19, man. We dropping like flies. You got to appreciate people in the moment. And not when they're not in the moment. You know what I mean? You know, shout out to everybody who we lost in 2020. 2020 is its hit rate is effective, bro. But nonetheless, I hope everybody stays safe, stay blessed, stay masked up in this holiday. And yeah, man, let's get it. I got big hopes in 2021 because 2021 is just like we can't get no more rock bottom. All right. But anyway, Donnie B got the beats, Nicholas Baker, Taurea, Avant. We all on 2 Flu West. And make sure you hit us up. Stay tuned. Thank you for following us. Thank you for subscribing. And we look forward to future episodes. Here we go. Can't find the button. All right, here we go. There we out.